This video contains excerpts from our playbook. Download it from our website. Welcome to our whiteboard drawing, Day 2, Jump to 9.1.2 or higher, Transfer Builds Configuration to Pre-Production. This drawing describes how to transfer the upgraded builds configuration to pre-production. This task is not required for an upgrade from 8.x. Instead, either rename the builds cluster pre-production or move the VMs to the pre-production cluster. Let's start with a quick overview and review. This is an overview of the jump, upgrade, and virtualization. This drawing looks at transferring the upgraded builds configuration to the pre-production cluster. Migrate to partition-aligned clean install in the diagram. This is the last step before doing the cutover. Here are the tasks for a Jump to 9.1.2 virtualization and upgrade. On Day 2, a figurative day, we virtualize and upgrade our CUCM cluster. Here are the individual tasks for transferring the upgraded builds configuration to the pre-production cluster. Validate replication on builds cluster, DRS backup on builds, and DRS restore on pre-production. This is an overview of the Jump Lab. This drawing looks at activities on the builds and pre-production cluster collab VLANs. In this drawing, we use DRS to transfer the current upgraded builds cluster configuration to the clean pre-production cluster. First, we do a DRS backup on the builds cluster. Then we transfer the files to the pre-production Jump server. And finally, we do a DRS restore on pre-production. Let's outline the first step, a DRS backup on upgraded builds cluster. The builds cluster mirrors the production cluster. We have the same servers filling the same roles. As before, Cisco requires that all servers in a cluster have their configurations transferred using DRS for a jump migration. We won't run DRS if replication is broken. We'll check that before the backup. Access your builds cluster publisher. Log in using collabadmin and your password. Validate replication first. In the navigation drop-down box, select Cisco Unified Reporting and click Go. Navigate to Unified CM Database Status. Click on the Generate Report icon on the right. Under Unified CM Database Status, validate that the replicate state is good for all nodes in the cluster. If replication is broken, you need to fix it now. In the navigation drop-down box, select Disaster Recovery System and click Go. Log in using Platform and your password. Configure another backup device, this time for the builds Jump server SFTP server, and click Save. The name can be anything. The update should be successful. Make sure the builds Jump server's SFTP server is started, or the update will fail. Navigate to Backup, Manual Backup. Select the backup device you just configured and check the box beside UCM, and optionally CDR/CAR if you want to transfer call detail records. Click Start Backup. The backup files will be deposited on the builds cluster SFTP server. Transfer all these files to the pre-production Jump Files shared folder. Now we're ready to restore the configuration to the pre-production cluster. Next, we do a DRS restore on the pre-production cluster. In the navigation drop-down box, select Disaster Recovery System and click Go. Log in using Platform and your password. Navigate to Backup, Backup Device. The newly installed pre-production cluster has nothing configured. Click Add New. Configure a backup device for the pre-production Jump server SFTP server. It doesn't matter what the backup device name is, but the server needs to be the pre-production jump server. The update should be successful. Make sure the pre-production jump server's SFTP server is started, or the update will fail. Navigate to Restore Wizard. Select anything in the device name drop-down box and click Next. In the Select Backup File drop-down box, select the backup of the upgraded builds cluster you just uploaded to the pre-production jump server. Click Next. Check the box beside UCM and optionally CDR/CAR and click Next. Note the text in red concerning restoration of a whole cluster on a freshly installed publisher. Click One-Step Restore to restore the cluster in one operation. Then click OK. Wait for the publisher to become cluster aware. Check the boxes for all of the servers in your cluster. Optionally, check the box for CDR/CAR. Click Restore. Notice that the cluster must be rebooted. Open a console to BuildsPub. Log in using platform and your password. Reboot the publisher using the command utils system restart. Connect to the other servers in the cluster and reboot them as well. The upgraded builds cluster configuration has been transferred to the pre-production cluster. The only thing left is to cut over. Coming up next, jump to 9.1.2 or higher, cut over. Thanks for watching.